What's going on, everybody? It's David from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop, so park your ass right there. Right there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, the subscribe button. Also, if you check the link below, you see a Patreon account. If you click it, you can become a member. All you got to do is try to recommend movies and music and trailers for me to react to, so click the link. Now, with that being said, we are here today to review Sisu. So this is a Finnish film. I believe it came out this year. I remember seeing this trailer when we saw John Wick, and I remember they were saying like it's like John Wick inspired. And I remember in the trailer it was like, "Don't worry, the dog survives." And this movie is directed by and written by Jalmari Helander. And what this movie is about is this man at the beginning of the movie, he's gold panning, and he finds gold, and it turns out that he's like this mercenary for like the Finnish army, and he has like this track record of killing like all of these Russian soldiers, and he's known as like the immortal. And what ends up happening is the Nazis cross paths with him and they try to steal his gold. And then turns out bro's like the Finnish John Wick. So you already know how that ends up going, right? This movie is an absolute bloodbath from, I don't want to say beginning to end, but pretty much from beginning to end. Once this movie picks up, it really doesn't let blood off the gas at all. There's a whole lot of practical effects in this movie. And honestly, like if you are a fan of John Wick movies, you're really going to enjoy this movie. At times, it feels very like Quentin Tarantino esque, minus the music. Like Quentin Tarantino usually picks like some really good music. This movie had to go with like like a generic soundtrack or a score, which isn't bad because it goes with the cinematography and it goes with the scenes. But at the same time, it probably could have. I mean, I think the one of the weaker points of this movie is probably like the music. The acting in the movie. I mean, it's not much to do. Like like the lead in the movie, the immortal as they call him. He doesn't say much throughout the whole movie. I think the only time he speaks is like at the end of the movie, and that's it. I think that's the only time we really actually hear him speak. But as far as like the way that he body acts, right? He really comes off as a badass, and it's very believable. Like once it starts picking up, it picks up nonstop. Are there some like super unbelievable moments in this movie? Of course, but at the same time, it's that type of movie. It's just supposed to be a fun action movie, which it definitely is without a doubt. Movie's about an hour and 30 minutes, which is a really solid runtime for a movie like this. I could definitely see this movie having a sequel or a prequel. Hopefully, it has generated enough buzz and produced enough money. It's made its money back, so it's probably made like 2 times its money. I want to say it cost about 6 million to make. It's garnered about 11 million plus. So I mean, it's made its money back. Plus, it's doubled its money, which is something good for a movie that really didn't have much buzz behind it. It sucks that Lionsgate pushed this movie out, but yet they didn't really promote it as hard as they should have. Like I really think that they could have promoted this really hard, and this could have possibly been. I don't want to say like within the John Wick universe, but they could have had these two kind of like not John Wick, because John Wick is way later down the line, and this is happening in World War II. So obviously these two people are not going to cross each other's paths. But like maybe have like descendants, and maybe have like I don't know, something. You could have figured something out. But again, they're kind of two different types of movies. John Wick is more of an action, like shoot 'em up movie, and this one's more of a like this one's just bloody. I mean, there's a whole lot of knife play, there's a pickaxe being used, there's explosives. There are people getting shot, but most of the deaths are coming like up close and personal. And you're just seeing body parts getting blown off, shot off, and falling off. So again, it's a very brutal movie. And like I said, you don't like it just flies through. It's a fun movie to watch. I can't recommend it enough. This is a really good breath of fresh air. Especially like after you watch John Wick movies and eventually the storyline kind of like dies out and it feels a little bit repetitive in nature and you try to get too complex with the story of John Wick. It's really cool to watch like a simplistic storyline of just a man and his dog just going along and then just run across some bad people and just give them the business. So here on the Cinema Chop Shop, we grade movies in 3 ways. Count them 3 ways. Either you get bodied and sent to the bowels of hell, and I tell your movie's basura. Or I give you big fat meh, which means it's más o menos, mediocre, mid-range, mid-grade, all that bullshit. Or I tell you movie spared, I'm like, go watch it, stop what you're doing, go ahead, pay for this. I'm gonna spare this movie.
He ain't earned the death. He ain't earned the death at my hands. God's only man, spared by the butcher.
Yeah, you heard it, folks. I'm sparing this movie. I mean, this movie is an action-packed movie. Fun. Once it picks up, it doesn't stop to the end of the movie. There's a whole lot of blood if you like blood. There's a whole lot of gore if you like gore. And I mean, there's not much dialogue in this movie, and the characters they're very generic, but at the same time, it works with who they are. Small cast movie, it's not filmed on too many locations, very simplistic, kind of like what is that movie? What's that kind of movie called? It just seems like a passion project, you know, like just something somebody came up with and was like, you know what, this will be a fun movie to make, and it is a fun movie to make. They have the director definitely accomplished his goal with writing and produce and directing this movie. So kudos to them for doing that. I wish Lionsgate would have pushed this a little bit harder, but it is what it is. I personally purchased this movie on Vudu. I think it's worth buying. I think that we should buy these movies or rent and support this movie in any kind of capacity monetarily, so to make sure that movies like this continue to be made. Because I mean, what's Hollywood doing right now? It lacks originality. So instead of sitting there bitching and complaining about how Hollywood lacks originality, we have to put our money towards a product which has that originality. So I would say go ahead, cop this movie or buy or rent this movie, and I guarantee you're gonna have fun with it. So that's my review. Let me know if you agree or disagree, whatever the case may be. Drop it in the comment section down below. And you are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. Hope you guys have a magnificent day. Adios, homies.